Hello, Facebook world. We are having some technical difficulties, so today you get to catch the replay. Welcome, I am Jess Bose, and I am a coach and author. I help people transform their grief into their superpower. So whether that's the death of a loved one or heartbreak or something else, because the reality is with COVID, most people are grieving whether they know it or not. I help people really tune into their feelings so they can actually feel, because the only way over grief is through, actually. So helping people to connect with their feelings so that they can grieve, step into their power, and stand in the highest versions of themselves. And today it's Tuesday, so it is coaching time. And today we have the lovely Nana joining us, and she's going to introduce herself.
Thank you. You're so lovely. I enjoyed receiving that. My name is Nana. I'm a liberation and empowerment coach, and I help women really tap into the juiciness of their feminine power so that they can fully embody their authentic power and stop living for society and really be all that they can be in this world. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful. And don't you have an event coming up soon?
Oh, yes. Thank you for opening the space for that. We are doing a challenge, a full body detox challenge from September 17th until September 30th, 2 weeks, with myself and a regeneration coach, an expert who is basically this amazing professional from Australia who's going to be guiding us on a full body reset. And we're going to be doing not only a physical body, but the emotional and energetic body as well. So the whole objective is to really get to understanding what it is to feel and live fully inspired in our body and let go of all the COVID junk that we have been accumulating over the months, and completely reset our body and be in alignment. Join us, 2 weeks of amazingness that we'll be doing during that detox, and you'll be really supported by both of us.
That's amazing. And I work with both Nana and her partner, Benjamin, and I will make sure you guys have access to the link because it sounds like something really amazing, and I'm considering doing it myself. So, yay! Welcome. Thank you for being here, Nana. I always enjoy your elephant in the background. It's just so
Thank
majestic and beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. It enjoys being present always as well. It's very powerful.
Cool. So today we're doing some coaching with Nana. So even though Coach Nana is a coach, we as coaches need coaches and need space to have someone hold up a mirror for us. And so she has volunteered her time to do that with me today. Thank you so much. So what's been coming up for you lately, Nana?
You know, what would really be helpful for me is to, I'm in a lot of unknown happening, and in this phase where I literally feel like Spirit said, go to the back seat of the car, enjoy the ride, and just watch the view. We got this. And I really felt this message, and I'm trying to just surrender to it and be at peace with it and enjoy the ride, not just surrender, but just really enjoy the ride. And I really find myself at times battling with that. And it sometimes just sucks not to know. It's just, and there's so many big shifts happening, like renting my condo, moving where, I don't know, traveling, trying to seeing where I want to live in the world, being open to all the possibilities. Yeah, so many changes happening, and I feel like I don't know anything.
I understand that space that you're in. If you really knew me, you would know that I have moved 14 times in the past 10 years. It's
Wow.
a lot of unknowns, a lot of not knowing. And so I can imagine all of the types of emotions that are coming up as a result of the not knowing, and also desiring and excitement and scared and right. So when you mentioned battling, what are you battling? Tell me more about that.
It's more like the surrender, like knowing that I gotta let go, and then feeling myself trying to control. That's what I'm battling with. And then knowing that I have to surrender. And it's like, but how, but what do I do next? And, um, and then trying to figure things out. And then in the process of trying to figure things out, I'm just like completely confused and not going anywhere. um, so I actually told myself, I'm just going to stop trying to figure anything out. And at one point I was trying to design this little process that would help me, in my day. And like really, we're just chatting before offline of how, really scheduling my day and making it in a way that it flows better. And then the time that I try to design that process, I got more lost than anything. And I'm just like, okay, let that go. And any time that it's just about knowing what's next, and I get in my head, and it's just not, it's not serving me. And at the same time, um, yeah, it's the battle comes in when you just, I would like to know the next step, please. Give me something, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in the recently, can you think of a time where you surrendered and what happened when you did that?
Yeah. So even now, fully surrendering to coaching, which I've been doing coaching for the past 2 years, and still having a corporate position, at the same time. And when I fully surrendered to this, not knowing what was going to happen, it just exploded. It just boomed, and it opened up so beautifully. Yeah.
Did you have the same battle at that point before you decided to quit your corporate job?
No.
Okay, so this is different.
Yeah, it's different because I felt like I had been battling at that point for about a year or so. Not battling, but I had been, you know, um, telling myself that I wanted to do this at some point, but I just didn't know when. And then when it just hit me, I just took the leap. Um, and so this is different. This is different. It's like, okay, I get it. But there's no clear what's next. This was a clear what's next. Like I'll leave, I surrender, and then we'll just fully open up and embody the coach that I know I am, and that I've been already doing for the past 2 years. And now let's just go all in into that. And now this is like, there's a series of little steps that need to kind of take place. Um, I already am open to the uncertainty, to the unknown. And now it's just like letting these steps kind of like reveal themselves. Yeah.
So like the kind of image I'm getting is if it's like you're on this little not an island, but like where there's a bunch of like the Grand Canyon. So there's like lots of spaces, but you're on this rock
Mm.
and you have all your stuff and you're ready to leap. You just didn't know if you're gonna leap this way or this way or this way or this way, and you're like just kind of sitting cross-legged, like, what do I do now? Which way do I leap? I'm ready, but I don't know which way to go.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So it feels like I just have to try one cannon and just see how that feels and just go somewhere. Yeah.
Do you have a timeline on any of the things?
Yeah, I know that in October I want to be in Brazil. So I know I need, not I need, I want to rent my condo by, the end of September, which we're just starting now. Uh, and it ideally the condo will be rented before I go to Brazil. So once I go, that I know I'm not coming back for a while. And once I go to Brazil, I'll be there for a few months with my family. And then after, it's like, show me, universe, where to go and where you want me to explore first, because I'm ready. And there's a few places in mind that comes to me, and I know I don't have to decide now. And maybe I'm just like too focused on what's the next step, like just trusting that the condo is going to be rented, and that I already know I'm going to Brazil next, um, is enough. Um, and I don't need to know the rest. But at the same time, I'm saying this now. I know that after I'm going to be like, okay, but when's this going to happen? And that's when the battle comes in.
Mm, okay, that makes sense. So you do know what's next, and you don't know what the next thing is, and you want to know what the next thing is.
Right. I guess I'm not really surrendering, am I? Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
I I've just been watching this TV show called The Magicians, and they have this like quest that they're going on, and they have this book, and the book only reveals to them the next chapter, and that's it. And then once they find the next thing, then the next chapter is revealed. And
Mhm.
I feel like that's kind of where you are. It's like you know what the next chapter is. The rest is blank because
Okay, so
it's not ready yet.
yeah, so it's like I know what the next chapter is, and yet there's this little something that it's still in this chapter that needs to get done that hasn't gotten done yet. And so I'm like, how is this going to get done so I can go to the next chapter? You know? And I just have to release that and trust that and know that I'm doing my, what's in my power. Um, and that I don't get to know what's the next chapter.
Yeah. How does that feel?
Yeah, it makes my tummy roll. And at the same time is exciting. It's exciting, and it's exciting to know how much I'm willing to trust to just go there. And so now I just have to really trust.
Yeah. So are you breathing right now?
Nope.
Okay. So fear and excitement live in the same place in our body, which you might know, like in our stomachs. But fear is excitement without the breath. So take a few deep breaths.
And now that I'm taking a deep breath, it's what's coming up for me is that um, I'm really, I know I keep having the image of my son coming to me. Um, and it's like, I'm not even close. There's not even a person for this. So how is that possible? And yet I know I'm so ready for it and excited. And I've had two visions of like him just being so, so perfectly in my surrounding to a point that I actually thought there was a baby around me. Um, and he was just so precious. Uh, and it's like, I know that that's on the next chapter. And there's a part of me that's like, which chapter? And how do I get there faster? Yeah.
And that's, yeah, again, not surrendering, right?
hmm hmm I really like your visual of this book that you're saying you don't get to know the next chapter. You only get to know one chapter at a time. Yeah.
Because even then, you know the direction of the chapter, but you have no idea what's going to happen while you're in Brazil.
No. Right. No idea.
Maybe you meet the love of your life and soon to be father of your child. Maybe you don't. But like surrendering to that process allows for whatever. So
Yeah.
so it's really interesting what I'm sensing is that you have some, I don't know if you would call it like prophetic abilities or like strong intuition about certain things in the future. So there are things in the future that you do know.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, oh, I know this is going to happen. So then you're like, when, how, where, what time.
Yes,
And so you want to fill in all the blanks
that's
and
exactly it.
interpret it. And I myself have that same problem. I often get these blips of like, oh, I know this thing. So then I'm going to do everything in my power to make it happen and force it. And I have learned that that never works ever.
Mhm.
And sometimes when I try to interpret the thing, I get it wrong too. So it's like I have this vision of, we'll take your example as like my son. Well, maybe it's my son. You might know for sure it's your son, but maybe if I was interpreting it, it's just a baby. Maybe it's not even mine. Maybe it's somebody else's. But I'm already trying to interpret it into something that it not actually is.
Yeah, you know how I know it's an intuition and not interpretation? Just
Mm,
because the moment it hits me, it's when I'm really tapped in and
mm,
in my really in that place of alignment, and it's unexpected, and the message comes with clarity. And that is so beautiful. And you're right, I do have that intuitive ability and power. And even with my clients, sometimes like this thing just like hits and it comes through, and it's like, oh yeah, this is exactly it. Like, you know, like it just hits like really strongly. Um, it's when my human wants to get in the way. It's like the message came to me as a gift, and now my human's like, no, 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 and I'm just like, you know, see what I can do with it, and try to figure everything out. So
So
yeah,
this human person, this figure out person, can you give this person a name?
uh, I want to call her. I want to call her Mary.
Mary? Okay. Can we do a little activity with Mary?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to get full embodied into Mary. So how she would act, how she would speak, how she would gesture, all of those things. You're going to really embody her and be dramatic about it.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to ask Mary a few questions when you're ready.
Okay. So I feel like if Mary would show up, she'd be wearing glasses and she'd have those strings, you know, that it's like that are attached, and she'd have a little notepad, and she'd be like, okay, what's next? Got it. And she'd be like, okay, with the eyes like this, and just asking and asking and asking. That's how I feel like Mary would be, like just trying to like take everything in.
Beautiful. So you get to fully embody Mary now.
Huh. Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Mary, what's the most important thing to you?
Knowing.
Knowing. Beautiful. Mary, what are you most proud of?
Oof. Doing it right. Oh, wow.
Mary, when did you make your first appearance?
Hmm. Hmm. I want to say childhood, but nothing specific comes to mind.
Okay. Mary, who did you learn your style from?
The first word that comes is scarcity, and it's just like, you know, like, yeah. So there's not a person, it's a thing.
Okay, scarcity. Beautiful. Mary, what are you most afraid of?
Hmm. Getting it wrong, failing, not knowing where I'm going, being lost. Not, yeah,
Mm. Mary, what do you most want?
freedom.
Mm. Okay, come back to Nana.
Mm, yeah, that was powerful.
Yeah. So what did you learn about Mary?
Um, that had, yeah, she's a part of me that is really trying to get it right, to protect me from disappointment, from disillusion, from heartache, from um, not trusting myself. Uh, because it's like, yes, you can do it, you can do it, and I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna get everything that you need, so we can, so you're all right, you know. It's that kind of like image, and in trying to help getting everything that I need, so that I can know that I can do it. It's it's actually doing the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a exercise I got from the Hendricks Institute called the persona interview.
Mm.
And
Persona interview.
yeah, when talking about different personas, like we've created different personas to protect us over time, right? And so if you view yourself in a bus full of all of your personas, different ones try to take over the driving.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're not conscious about it, so Mary unconsciously takes over driving the bus sometimes. And so you get to have a conversation with her when you become conscious of it. It's like, you did your job. You are not needed anymore. You get to go sit in the back and it's going to be just fine. And then you get to take over as your essence in driving again. And sometimes when we become more conscious of our different personas, they are useful. It's like, okay, Mary, I need you right now because we have these 700 million detail things to do right now and I need you to come out. And so then that it's great. And then you learn how to consciously bring her out. But when she's unconsciously coming up, like right now, and it's not needed, it's like becoming aware of her and then like what does she need in order for you to be like, it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and it's what I'm feeling for her is a lot of compassion. Like a lot of compassion right now, because I can see that it's all like really in to protect, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. And if she first came out when you were a child, there's something that happened that she was needed and she did protect you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So you get to love on her. So good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That was
Mm-hmm.
actually very good to experience her uh, like that.
That's one of my favorite activities to do.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool. So is there anything that Mary gets to hear right now?
Um, that she gets to put her pen and paper down, put her feet up, take off her glasses, and relax. uh, Make a cup of tea and relax, because it's we have all the details that we need, you know, and we get to just really um, trust now and not get in the way.
Yay! That's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Mhm.
Cool. Well, I feel like that's a good closing point. Um, any of you watching the replay, thank you so much for joining in. Every Tuesday, I do this live. I give away free 30 minutes of coaching. So if you're willing to do it live with me, let me know and we'll get connected and do something just like this. Thank you for tuning in.
Beautiful.